you might be asking me, how did I get in this position? Fuck it. Okay. I've been under here for 9 hours. I probably got at least another hour and a half left. I gotta staple everything, all the plastic, and I gotta tape it all. But we're past 6 o'clock at night right now. I was hoping to finish today, but I'm gonna have to come back here on Monday for a couple hours. So it is what it is. It's been a tough one. We're heading to the basement insulation job, day 2. The difficulties with this job is just the amount of space that I have to work with. There's about 18, maybe 20 inches of space for me to crawl around. And it's making it really difficult to cut the insulation, get anything down there. There's pipes that are in the way that I literally need to suck my gut in to be able to fit underneath the pipe. So that's adding an extra layer of difficulty. I can't even sit up. Like, I can't sit cross-legged or with my legs out without having my head bend down like this. So basically I'm laying on my side, keep my head up, or I'm laying on my back. And anyone who's done anything remotely like this knows that when you're laying on your back, putting things above your face, it's horrible. I'm getting stuff in my eyes. I've got a face shield, but it's so tight, the face shield keeps getting knocked off. So I just pull my hat down. I do have a full bodysuit that like a painter would wear. So that's helping a lot because I'm not getting sand in my pants. But you know, by the end of the day, I got a lot of sand in my boots. So I'm positive it's turning out okay. It's gonna be great by the time I'm done. Can I finish today? It would have to go extremely well. So wish me luck. We're going back to the crawl space. Let's go. So as I'm going along here stapling, you'll hear me kind of do a double staple a lot. And the reason for that is when you're working with anything overhead, it's always a good time. It's always a good idea to increase the surface area of what's holding it. So it'd be the same with drywall. When you put a drywall screw in your ceiling, you actually want to double them up to double the amount of surface area of the whatever it is holding the substrate up. So we're gonna do, we're gonna double up our staples. Well, the basement installation job is done. It's wrapped up, and that was brutal. That has to be one of the hardest jobs I've ever done. The sand getting all over everything, it went in my eyes. No matter how many times I knocked my tools off or, shook the plastic to try to get the sand off, I'd get facefuls of sand. Everything was so close to your face. It was incredibly hard to work, incredibly hard on the body. But the reason I mention this is normally, looking at a job like that, I would never do that unless the price was right and I knew we were making a substantial amount of money, because that is painful to do. However, part of the business that I'm building, our main focus is structural repair, rot repair, and building high quality premium decks. But within that framework, there's also a piece of that where we will still continue to do a variety of residential services for existing or recommended customers. Now, this customer, we've built a deck for them. We built a deck about a year ago for these guys. The gentleman, I won't mention his name for his privacy, but he's 91 years old. He's a veteran and a previous client. So if there was somebody who I was going to do that sort of job for, crawling under a house, I was in that crawl space for 4 days trying to do that by myself. And if it wasn't for all these facts, I would have never done that. But I'll tell you right now, sitting here knowing it's done, knowing that this gentleman and his wife, who are extremely nice, very easy to get along with, very, very reasonable. And like I said, he's a veteran, he's over 90 years old. I feel, privileged and honored that someone like him trusts me to do different things in his home. And now they're talking about how they're going to hire me to put in some new flooring. So there's a fine line between sticking to one thing. But I know in my case, I have quite a wide range of skills. In terms of business, it doesn't make sense for me to just go out and do absolutely everything. And I've learned that the hard way. When you do too much, you can't narrow down your numbers. You're not as efficient in the things you need to be. But in this case, it's just insulating. The job was extremely difficult, not because of the complexity of the details, but simply the grit it took to stay down there and do that and get facefuls of sand. But, on a personal level and on a business level, I was able to help somebody who really deserves it. We charged a fair amount, so that I can make, my wage, the company makes a profit. And, it's a win-win. It was a hard one. And would I want to do it every single day? Absolutely not. But in this case, it seemed like a reasonable option, and I'm glad I did it. So thank you very much, and we'll see you on the next one. Ciao for now.